Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something straight from the heart. Tough times don't ask for permission. They come uninvited. Sometimes they knock. Other times they break down the door. But here's the truth. Tough times are not the end. They are the test. The question is, will you crumble or will you grow? Today, I want to share with you 10 things you must do to survive, and not just survive, but come out stronger. Your mind is your fortress. Build strong walls. When the winds of life blow hard, it's your mindset that decides whether you break or bend. Read good books. Listen to wisdom. Stay away from negativity. It all starts here. There are things you can change: your habits, your attitude, your actions. Then there are things beyond your control: weather, markets, people's opinions. I know the difference. It'll save you a lot of energy. In chaos, routine is your anchor. Wake up with purpose. Make your bed. Set small goals. Routine gives you structure, and structure gives you strength. When times get dark, light your soul, meditate, pray, reflect. Even 5 minutes of silence can give you clarity. Inner peace is power in disguise. You can't afford toxic company in tough times. Surround yourself with encouragers, not complainers. Winners, not whiners. People who stretch your vision, not shrink your faith. Hard times are a great teacher, so ask, what's the lesson here? Don't just go through pain, grow through. Learn new skills. Watch how others rise. Every storm teaches something. You can't fight battles if your body is weak. Eat clean. Walk, sleep, stretch. Tough times get tougher when your health declines. Take care of your machine. Gratitude doesn't mean ignoring pain. It means focusing on what's still good. A warm meal, a kind word, a deep breath, start there. Gratitude shifts perspective. It gives you hope when it hurts. Move. When you're tired, move. One step, one action, one phone call, one decision. Progress is powerful even if it's slow. Motion defeats emotion. Yes, it's hard, but giving up won't make it easier. You don't know how close you are to your breakthrough. Dig deep, fight smart, stay in the ring. Your future self is begging you not to quit. Your mind is the steering wheel of your life. If it breaks, the whole journey goes off course. So when life gets rough, and it will, you need something stronger than motivation. You need mental toughness, resilience. See, storms don't destroy people. It's the lack of preparation that does. You don't rise to the level of your hopes. You fall to the level of your preparation. That's why you build your mindset before the crisis shows up. That's why you strengthen the foundation while the sun's still shining. Start by becoming the guardian of your thoughts. Not every thought that visits your mind deserves a seat at your table. Some thoughts will lie to you, tell you you're not enough, that this pain will last forever. You've got to answer back. You've got to say, that's not my future. That's not my truth. Feed your mind like you feed your body, with good words, with truth, with ideas that stretch you, not shrink you. Read something every day that reminds you of who you are and who you're becoming. Listen to people who speak life, not fear. Speak to yourself like someone worth fighting for, because you are. Resilience isn't about never falling. It's about getting up quicker each time. It's about reminding yourself that your strength doesn't come from comfort. It comes from doing the hard thing when every part of you wants to quit. It's forged in the fire, not outside of it. And when you've built that kind of mindset, the world can shake, but you won't break. You'll bend, you'll adjust, but you won't break. That's the power of resilience. One of the greatest freedoms you'll ever experience is the moment you realize you don't have to control everything. You're not in charge of the weather, the traffic, the economy, or how someone else treats you. But you are in charge of you. And that, my friend, is where the real power lies. See, the problem isn't that life is hard. The problem is when we waste our energy trying to fix what's not ours to fix. We get frustrated about things we can't change. We lose sleep over opinions that don't matter. We exhaust ourselves chasing control in places it doesn't exist. And that's how we end up feeling helpless when in truth we were never powerless. You can't control the storm, but you can prepare your boat. You can't control the economy, but you can control your effort. You can't control what others say, but you can control how you respond. That's where your focus belongs, on the things that live within your reach, your actions, your attitude, your discipline, your choices. And here's the beauty of it. Once you shift your energy to what's within your hands, your world changes. You stop being reactive and you start being responsible. You stop blaming and you start building. You stop waiting for the perfect conditions and you start creating them right where you are with what you have. You'll find peace the moment you draw that line and say, this is mine to carry, and that is not. Because control isn't about gripping tighter. It's about knowing where to hold on and where to let go. And that kind of clarity, it's not weakness. It's wisdom. When life feels chaotic, the best thing you can do is build a little order. Discipline is the backbone of progress. It's the quiet force behind every strong life. And routine, that's the structure that holds everything together when the world feels like it's falling apart. You see, the day doesn't care how you feel. The clock keeps ticking whether you're ready or not. But the good news is you get to decide how you'll meet the day. You can drift or you can direct. And the difference between drifting and directing usually starts with how you spend your mornings. Wake up with intention, not just when you feel like it, but because you said you would. Make your bed not because it changes the world, but because it reminds you that small wins matter. Set simple targets for the day. Drink water, move your body, do the hard thing early. Stack up little victories. They build momentum. Discipline isn't about being perfect. It's about showing up again and again, especially on the days when you don't want to, because that's when it counts the most. Anybody can act right when everything feels good, but it takes character to keep going when you're tired, when the results are slow, when no one's watching. Routine creates rhythm, and rhythm creates results. It keeps you grounded when emotions try to run the show. It helps you keep your word to yourself. And let me tell you, there's no confidence like the confidence that comes from keeping promises to yourself. Build your routine like you're building a house, brick by brick, step by step. And don't underestimate the power of doing small things well every single day. That's how strength is built. That's how stability is formed. And that's how you make it through the storm, by sticking to what you know works, even when nothing else around you does. In the noise of life, peace is not found by accident. It's created on purpose. The world is loud. Phones buzzing, deadlines looming, voices pulling you in every direction. And in the middle of all that noise, it's easy to lose touch with the one voice that matters most, your own. That's why you need silence. Not just quiet around you, but quiet within you. A space where you can breathe, where you can think, where you can hear the whispers of wisdom that don't shout, they wait. They wait for stillness. Take 5 minutes, close the door, turn off the noise. Be still. And in that stillness, ask the deeper questions, not the what do I need to do today kind of questions, but the who am I becoming kind. That's where the shift happens. And if you pray, then pray with your heart open, not always asking, but sometimes just listening. Sometimes just being there, honest and raw. Because prayer isn't always about getting answers. It's about realigning your spirit, anchoring yourself in something higher, something unshakable. Inner peace is like a well. You've got to draw from it, but you've also got to keep it full. You keep it full by disconnecting from the chaos, even for a moment, and reconnecting to what's eternal, what's steady, what doesn't change just because your situation does. And here's the truth: when you feed your peace, everything else works better. You make clearer decisions. You speak more calmly. You carry yourself with more grace. That stillness becomes your strength. Not the loud kind, but the kind that holds firm when the storm comes. So guard that space. Protect that silence. Don't wait for the world to give you peace. Create it, feed it. Return to it daily, because no matter what's going on outside, if the inside is steady, you'll be just fine. One of the most important choices you'll ever make, especially in tough times, is who you let speak into your life. Because people are like elevators. They either lift you up or pull you down. And when you're already carrying the weight of life on your shoulders, the last thing you need is someone adding more bricks to your backpack. Take a look around. Who do you spend time with? Who do you call when things fall apart? Who do you let influence your thoughts, your energy, your mood? That circle matters more than you think. Because in tough times, voices become louder, and if you're not careful, you'll start mistaking noise for truth. You need people who remind you of your strength when you've forgotten it. People who don't just nod when you complain, but challenge you to rise. The kind who clap when you win and sit with you when you lose. The kind who tell you got this even when you don't feel like you do. And you don't need a crowd, you just need a few good ones. People who live with integrity. People who stretch your vision, not shrink it. People who talk about ideas, not just problems. Their energy becomes your environment, and your environment shapes your thinking. And your thinking, that shapes your future. Now, sometimes that means making tough decisions. It might mean creating distance from the constant complainers, the critics, the ones who always have a problem but never a solution. Not because you're better, but because you're building something, and negativity doesn't belong on your construction site. So choose wisely. Surround yourself with people who make you better, not bitter. People who believe in you, especially when you're running low on belief yourself. Because in the hardest seasons of life, the right people won't fix everything, but they will remind you that you're not walking through it alone. Every struggle carries a lesson, but not everyone sees it. Some people just go through hard times. Others grow through them, and the difference isn't luck, it's perspective. Pain is a teacher. Not the kind you want, but the kind you need. It doesn't always come with clear instructions. Sometimes it whispers. Sometimes it shouts. But if you're paying attention, it always leaves behind something valuable: wisdom, strength, clarity, patience, grit. See, most people want the lesson to come before the test. But life doesn't work that way. Life gives you the test first and the lesson after. And when things go wrong, the easy response is frustration. Why me? Why now? But the better response is curiosity. What is this trying to teach me? Every failure, every delay, every setback, it all has something to offer. Maybe it's teaching you resilience. Maybe it's showing you where you're not prepared yet. Maybe it's exposing something you've been ignoring. The key is to stay open, not bitter. Not closed off, but open. Don't waste your pain. Don't walk through the fire and come out empty-handed. Ask the hard questions. Take notes. Reflect. Because the lesson you learned today could be the wisdom you use tomorrow to help someone else or to avoid a deeper fall. And here's the truth. Life's not always about getting it right the first time. It's about learning something new each time. So instead of beating yourself up for the mistake, ask what it taught you. Instead of running from the discomfort, sit with it for a moment. Because inside that discomfort, there's growth trying to happen. You might not see it right away. Lessons take time to reveal themselves. But if you keep your eyes open and your heart willing, you'll find that every struggle you survive is actually shaping you into someone stronger, someone wiser, someone more prepared for what's next. You only get one body. One. And in tough times, when everything feels heavy, when stress is high and sleep is low, that one body becomes your greatest tool or your greatest limitation. So take care of it, not when things calm down. Not someday. Start now. Because if you don't take care of your body, where are you going to live? People often think success is all mindset, and yes, your thoughts matter. But if your body is tired, sluggish, drained, even the strongest mindset starts to fade. You need energy to think clearly. You need strength to make good decisions. You need stamina to keep showing up day after day. And all of that comes back to your physical health. It doesn't have to be complicated. You don't need a perfect diet or a fancy gym membership. Just move your body. Take a walk. Stretch. Breathe. Eat a little cleaner. Drink more water. Go to bed earlier. Small habits practiced daily create massive results over time. It's not about turning into a superhero overnight. It's about honoring the machine that carries you through life. And here's the thing, your body sends signals. It tells you when it's tired. It tells you when it's overloaded. Don't ignore those signs. Don't wait for the breakdown before you schedule the maintenance. When the pressure's on, your health becomes your anchor. If it's weak, everything shakes. If it's strong, you hold steady. Tough times require strength, not just mental or emotional, but physical. So treat your health like a priority, not a luxury. Because when your body feels strong, your mind thinks better, your emotions stay steadier, and your spirit can endure longer. Health isn't just about adding years to your life, it's about adding life to your years. Especially when life gets hard. Gratitude is a quiet power. It won't shout over your problems, but it will speak peace in the middle of them. When life gets tough, gratitude becomes your anchor. It doesn't change what you're going through, but it changes how you go through it. Every day, take a moment to look around and say thank you. Not because everything is perfect, but because something is still good. There's always something, a roof over your head, a friend who cares, a sunrise, a second chance, a lesson wrapped in the middle of the pain. Gratitude helps you see it. You see, the mind tends to focus on what's missing, what went wrong, what you don't have. But gratitude flips the lens. It shifts your focus to what's already there. And that shift, though simple, is powerful because the moment you stop chasing more and start appreciating, what does you find? Peace. Write it down, say it out loud, whisper it in your heart. But don't skip it. Make it a habit. Make it a discipline. Because gratitude isn't just something you feel, it's something you practice. Especially on the hard days, especially when it feels like there's nothing to be thankful for. That's when it works best. And here's what happens. Over time, your eyes start to open. You notice beauty in ordinary things. You complain less. You compare less. You start living from a place of fullness instead of lack. Gratitude doesn't make the storm disappear, but it does remind you of your umbrella. It reminds you that even in the darkest times, you're not empty-handed. So start small. Be thankful for breath, for strength, for the fight still left in you, because the more you practice gratitude, the more life gives you to be grateful for. When life gets hard, the temptation is to freeze, to wait, to overthink, to tell yourself, I'll start when I feel better, when things settle down, when I have it all figured out. But the truth is, momentum doesn't come from thinking, it comes from moving. Even if it's just a little, small steps matter. One call, one page, one honest conversation, one walk. One act of courage. They may not feel like much at the time, but stacked together day after day, they become progress. And in tough seasons, progress is what keeps you alive. It reminds you that you're not stuck, you're still going. You don't need a perfect plan. You don't need to see the whole staircase. Just take the next step. One action a day that moves you forward, because motion creates emotion. The moment you start doing, clarity begins to show up. Energy starts to return. Confidence slowly builds, not because the path is easy, but because you're proving to yourself that you can keep going. And yes, some days will be slower, some steps will be smaller, but forward is forward. Consistency beats intensity when intensity can't be sustained. A small win today is better than a big dream postponed until someday. Life rewards action, not big, dramatic moves once in a while, but steady, faithful effort over time. It's the little things done daily that shape your future. The call you made, the alarm you honored, the promise you kept to yourself. So don't wait for the perfect moment, it rarely shows up. Create your moment with motion. Keep moving, even if you're limping, even if you're unsure, even if you're scared. Because the moment you stop moving, the struggle starts to win. But as long as you take one step, the story isn't over. Keep going, step by step. You're getting somewhere even if you can't see it yet. There comes a point in every journey, especially when times get tough, when you'll face a choice. The choice to keep going or to quit. The temptation to give up will whisper in your ear, it's too hard. It's not worth it. You've done enough, and in that moment you'll have to decide, are you willing to fight for what you believe in, even when it feels like the odds are stacked against you? Let me tell you something, perseverance is the silent force that gets you through what feels impossible. It's not about being the strongest or the fastest, it's about staying in the game when everyone else has given up. It's about saying, I will not stop, not today, not tomorrow, not ever. There's no victory without resistance. Every challenge, every setback, every disappointment you face is preparing you for something greater. And if you quit, you'll never see what's on the other side of the struggle. You'll never experience the rewards that only come to those who stay the course. But here's the thing, perseverance doesn't mean you never feel like quitting. It means you feel it, you acknowledge it, and then you push through it. You keep going even when you feel drained, even when the road is unclear, even when it seems like the world is against you. Perseverance is what you do when everything inside you screams stop. It's when you don't know how, but you take another step anyway. And when you refuse to quit, something incredible happens. You start to grow. You build resilience. You learn more about your own strength, your own ability to overcome. You build a muscle that will carry you through the hardest moments of your life. That muscle, it's called perseverance. And every time you flex it, it gets stronger. The journey is long and the road will be tough at times. But here's the truth. If you don't quit, you'll eventually break through. Not because life becomes easy, but because you've developed the grit to keep going no matter what. So when the days get dark and the path gets rough, remind yourself quitting is not an option. You've come too far to turn back. You've got too much inside you to stop now. Perseverance is the key. Keep moving, keep fighting, keep going, because quitting is for those who never understood the power of persistence. Growth doesn't happen in your comfort zone. In fact, comfort often keeps you stuck. When everything is easy, there's no challenge, no opportunity to stretch your limits. But when you step into discomfort, you step into possibility. Discomfort is a sign you're pushing yourself, stepping beyond what's familiar, and expanding your capacity. Whether it's taking on a new challenge at work, having a difficult conversation, or confronting a weakness you've been avoiding, discomfort is the doorway to the next version of yourself. You have to be willing to face it, to lean into it, because on the other side of discomfort lies growth. And growth, my friend, is always worth the price you pay. In today's world, we've grown accustomed to instant results. We can order food, stream movies, or get deliveries with a click of a button. But real, lasting success isn't instant. It takes time. Patience is the art of waiting, but waiting with purpose, understanding that the process matters as much as the outcome. It's about staying consistent, even when the fruits of your labor aren't immediately visible. Trust that every effort, every step, no matter how small, is contributing to your growth. A seed doesn't grow overnight, and neither does success. But with patience, commitment, and persistence, you'll look back one day and realize just how far you've come. The world is constantly changing, and if you want to keep up, you must make learning a lifelong habit. Your knowledge is a powerful tool. It equips you to make better decisions, solve problems, and navigate life's challenges with confidence. But it's not just about gaining information, it's about applying what you learn to improve your life. Read books, attend seminars, seek mentors, and most importantly, be willing to learn from every experience. The most successful people aren't those with the most knowledge, they're the ones who are always growing, adapting, and evolving. So commit to learning. Invest in your mind, because everything else follows from there. There will be times in life when things don't make sense, when you don't understand why things are happening the way they are. But trust me, the process is working even if you can't see it. Success doesn't always come in a straight line. Sometimes the path is winding. Sometimes you'll take 2 steps forward and 1 step back. But don't be fooled, progress is still being made. Trust that the experiences, struggles, and setbacks are all part of a larger plan. Every step, no matter how small, is preparing you for something greater. So when you can't see the end result, trust the process. Keep going. It's working for you, not against you. Time is a finite resource. Once it's gone, it's gone. And yet so many people squander it, waiting for the perfect moment to act or giving it away to things that don't serve their purpose. To truly succeed, you must become intentional with your time. Prioritize what matters. Learn to say no to distractions, no to things that drain your energy, no to commitments that don't align with your values. Instead, say yes to what moves you closer to your goals. Say yes to your health, your relationships, your growth, your dreams. Every minute counts, and every action you take today shapes your tomorrow. So take charge of your time, make every moment intentional, and you'll see how it multiplies into meaningful success. Your emotions are powerful, but they are not your masters. They can be the fuel that drives you forward or the weight that holds you back. The key is to develop emotional intelligence, your ability to recognize, understand, and manage your emotions in a way that serves you, especially in tough times. It's easy to let fear, anger, frustration, or anxiety take over, but the truly successful person knows how to keep those emotions in check. They acknowledge them, but don't let them dictate their actions. Instead of reacting impulsively, they respond with clarity and purpose. This takes practice. It takes self-awareness to recognize when your emotions are clouding your judgment. It takes discipline to pause, breathe, and choose a thoughtful response rather than a knee-jerk reaction. The more you master your emotions, the clearer your thinking becomes. The more control you have over how you act, not just how you feel. And when you master your emotions, life becomes less of a series of unpredictable storms and more of a steady journey toward your goals. One of the most empowering things you can do is take full responsibility for your life. Your actions, your choices, your results, these are all in your hands. And when you take responsibility, you take back control. You stop blaming others or circumstances or bad luck. You stop playing the victim. Instead, you look at every situation and ask, what can I do? How can I respond? How can I grow from this? Taking responsibility doesn't mean you have to be perfect. It means you own your decisions, your mistakes, and your successes. It means learning from your failures and using them as stepping stones, not as excuses. When you take responsibility, you become the driver of your own life instead of sitting in the passenger seat waiting for things to happen. Life may throw challenges your way, but how you respond is always your choice, and in that choice lies your power. It's often said that your network is your net worth, and there's truth in that. But relationships aren't just about business or success, they're about support, growth, and sharing experiences. The people you surround yourself with influence who you become. If you want to succeed, you need to be around people who elevate you, who challenge you, and who bring out the best in you. But relationships are a two-way street. It's not enough to simply take, you must also give. Invest in others. Be the person who listens, who encourages, who shows up for those in need. Build connections based on trust, respect, and mutual growth. These relationships become your lifelines when you face difficulties. When you struggle, they lift you up. When you succeed, they celebrate with you. Your network is not just about the people who can help you get ahead, but about the ones who walk beside you, sharing the journey, making it richer and more meaningful.